Number 5. Finland's nuclear bunker mall. Finland has quietly become the doomsday prepper capital of Europe, and they're not even trying to hide it. Beneath Helsinki, there's an entire underground city that includes a shopping mall, a hockey rink, a church, and enough bomb shelters to protect the entire population. We're talking about a subterranean network so extensive that, if you combined all the tunnels, they'd stretch over 200 miles. That's longer than the distance from New York City to Philadelphia. Except it's all happening beneath your feet while Finns casually grab their groceries. Here's the thing. Finland shares an 830-mile border with Russia, and they've got a memory like an elephant when it comes to historical invasions. So instead of just building a few sad concrete bunkers and calling it a day, they went full Bond villain lair. Every new building constructed in Finland is required by law to have a bomb shelter. Not suggested. Required. Your apartment building? Bunker. Your office? Bunker. That cute little cafe where you get overpriced lattes? Believe it or not, also a bunker. But the truly wild part is how normalized this is. These aren't dusty Cold War relics filled with spiders and existential dread. They're actively maintained, and many double as storage spaces, sports facilities, and even swimming pools during peacetime. It's like if your basement could transform into a survival fortress at a moment's notice, except actually functional and not filled with your childhood toys and broken exercise equipment. The psychology here is fascinating. Most countries deal with anxiety about potential conflict through denial or vague emergency plans that no one actually follows. Finland said, what if we just prepare? It's the national equivalent of meal prepping for the apocalypse. And it works because there's something deeply calming about hypercompetence. When your government has a plan this thorough, you don't lie awake at night wondering what would happen in a crisis. You already know. You'd head underground, grab a coffee at the bunker Starbucks, and wait it out like a particularly well-organized mole person. Basically, Finland turned collective anxiety into architectural policy, and now they've got the most casually dystopian infrastructure on Earth. Your brain can relax when the subway doubles as Armageddon insurance. Number 4. China's underground military labyrinths. China has been building a secret underground tunnel system so massive that Western intelligence agencies literally nicknamed it the Underground Great Wall. And unlike your neighbor's ambitious backyard project that never gets finished, this thing is reportedly over 3,000 miles long. That's roughly the distance from New York to London. Except it's all happening beneath mountains in central China, and it's designed to hide and transport nuclear weapons. The official line from China is that these tunnels are for strategic defense purposes, which is government speak for, we're not telling you what's down there, but you should probably be concerned. What we do know comes from state media broadcasts that accidentally showed too much, defector testimonies, and satellite imagery of suspicious tunnel entrances that keep popping up in remote areas. It's like China is playing the world's highest stakes game of whack-a-mole, except the moles are intercontinental ballistic missiles. From a psychological standpoint, this is paranoia architecture at its finest. The entire project is rooted in a military strategy called deep strike survivability, which basically means if someone nukes us, we need to be able to nuke them back from our underground lair. It's the geopolitical version of having a spare key hidden outside your house, except the key is a mobile nuclear arsenal, and the house is a reinforced concrete tunnel system that could survive a direct hit. What makes this particularly unsettling is the scale. We're not talking about a few secret bunkers. This is an underground highway system for weapons, complete with rail lines, ventilation systems, and enough space to move entire military divisions without ever seeing daylight. Some analysts estimate that tens of thousands of workers were involved in construction, which raises the question, how do you keep something that massive secret? The answer is you don't. Really. You just make it so big and so buried that by the time anyone figures out the full extent, it's already operational. The human brain struggles with threats it can't see, and that's exactly what makes underground military infrastructure so effective. You can't bomb what you can't find, and you can't negotiate with a country whose nuclear arsenal might be scattered across thousands of miles of hidden tunnels. It's strategic ambiguity taken to its logical, deeply paranoid conclusion. Number 3. Elon Musk's boring company tunnels. That aren't boring at all. Elon Musk looked at traffic in Los Angeles, had what can only be described as a billionaire tantrum, and decided the solution was to build a series of underground tunnels where Tesla cars could zoom around on electric skates at 150 miles per hour. And then he actually started doing it. The Boring Company has already completed test tunnels in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and is proposing projects everywhere from Miami to Chicago, all under the premise that the future of transportation is just below us. Here's where it gets weird. The Las Vegas Convention Center loop is already operational, and it's basically a tunnel where Tesla drivers shuttle people around at speeds that are decidedly not 150 miles per hour. It's more like a very expensive underground Uber that occasionally gets traffic jams in a single-lane tunnel, which is kind of hilarious considering the whole point was to eliminate traffic. But Musk keeps insisting that this is just phase one, and eventually these tunnels will connect entire cities in a vast subterranean network that makes highways obsolete. The psychology behind this is pure tech bro optimism, meeting urban planning denial. Instead of investing in proven solutions like trains or better public transit, Musk looked at a problem that's been solved dozens of times around the world and said, what if we reinvented the subway, but worse and with Teslas? It's the same cognitive bias that makes people buy expensive gadgets to solve simple problems, the innovation fallacy, where novelty feels more appealing than boring effectiveness. But credit where it's due, the tunnels are getting built. Whether they'll ever become the transportation revolution Musk promises or just remain expensive underground taxi lanes is still up for debate. What's not debatable is that there are now private tunnels being constructed beneath major American cities by a guy who also runs a rocket company and tweets like a teenager. The future is weird, and apparently it's happening 40 feet underground. The real trick Musk pulled off is making tunnel construction seem cool. Traditionally, infrastructure projects are bureaucratic nightmares that take decades and bore everyone to tears. Musk slapped a flamethrower on the merchandise store, made jokes about the company name, and suddenly people were genuinely excited about tunnel boring machines. It's marketing genius wrapped around questionable urban planning, and your brain falls for it because novelty activates the same reward circuits as actual progress. We're building underground car tunnels when we could have just built a train, but the car tunnel has better PR. Number 2, Norway's Doomsday seed vault and its expanding neighbors. Deep inside a mountain on the Norwegian island of Spitsbergen, about 800 miles from the North Pole, there's a vault that holds over 1 million seed samples from nearly every country on Earth. It's officially called the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, but everyone calls it the Doomsday Vault because humanity apparently needs backup files in case we completely wreck the planet. And recently, Norway announced they're expanding the facility and building additional vault systems nearby for data storage, scientific samples, and cultural artifacts. This isn't some paranoid survivalist project. It's run by the Norwegian government in partnership with international organizations, and it's designed to survive pretty much anything. Nuclear war, asteroid impacts, climate catastrophe, you name it. The entrance looks like a glowing alien artifact sticking out of the snow, which is exactly the vibe you want from a facility designed to preserve civilization. Inside, the temperature is maintained at minus 18 degrees Celsius, about 0 degrees Fahrenheit, and the permafrost provides natural backup cooling. It's so well designed that even if all the power systems failed, the seeds would stay frozen for decades. Now here's the part that should probably concern you more than it does. We've already had to use it. In 2015, researchers in Syria requested seeds from the vault because their own seed bank in Aleppo was destroyed during the civil war. The apocalypse scenario wasn't some distant hypothetical. It was a Tuesday in Damascus. Since then, those seeds were used to rebuild the collection, and some were even returned to the vault. It's the world's most depressing library checkout system. The expansion happening now includes vaults for digital data, which is somehow even more existentially troubling. We're not just backing up crops, we're backing up human knowledge, because apparently we've collectively decided that civilization is fragile enough to need an offsite backup in the Arctic. Your phone backs up to the cloud, and humanity backs up to a mountain in Norway. Same energy, different stakes. What's psychologically interesting is how comforting this actually is. Knowing there's a frozen mountain vault with seeds from every corner of Earth doesn't make you more anxious about the end of the world. It makes you feel like someone's got a plan. It's the same reason people keep fire extinguishers they'll probably never use. The existence of a backup plan calms the parts of your brain that catastrophize. We built a monument to our anxiety about the future, and somehow it makes us feel better about it. Number 1, Singapore's underground ammunition facility. Singapore is a tiny island nation about the size of a single city, and they've got a military problem. Where do you store massive amounts of ammunition and explosives when you literally don't have room for a traditional military base? Their solution was to build one of the world's largest underground ammunition facilities, and they didn't just dig a hole. They built a literal subterranean fortress, complete with climate control, automated systems, and enough explosive storage to supply their entire military for extended conflicts. The facility, called the Mandai Ammunition Complex, sits about 150 feet underground and is designed to be virtually invisible from above. Singapore took a look at their lack of land and said, "Fine, we'll just use the dimension no one else is occupying." It's the same logic that makes people buy storage ottomans. When you don't have space horizontally, you get creative with vertical or, in this case, downward real estate. What's brilliant about this design is the psychology of efficiency meeting paranoia. Singapore knows they're surrounded by much larger countries, and their entire defense strategy relies on being so prepared and well organized that attacking them would be more trouble than it's worth. It's the geopolitical equivalent of being the person at the party who's so competent at handling problems that no one wants to mess with you. By putting their ammunition storage underground, they free up surface land for housing, parks, and commerce, while simultaneously making their military infrastructure nearly impossible to take out with conventional strikes. The facility also uses automated guided vehicles and robotic systems to move ammunition around, which means fewer humans need to be underground with literal tons of explosives. From a safety standpoint, this is genius. From a "this is what the future of warfare looks like" standpoint, it's unsettling. Singapore built a robot-staffed underground weapons vault because they ran out of room to store bombs the normal way. And somehow this is just considered smart urban planning now. The human brain loves elegance in problem solving, and there's something oddly satisfying about a solution this clean. No space? Go underground. Too dangerous for humans? Add robots. It's efficiency porn for your prefrontal cortex. Singapore turned a geographic limitation into a strategic advantage, and the result is a facility that's equal parts impressive engineering and mild sci-fi dystopia. Basically, they turned their entire ammunition storage into a very serious game of Minecraft, except the creepers are geopolitical threats and the diamonds are military-grade explosives. If you enjoyed this video, watch this one now to know about the disturbing reason why your ancestors never slept 8 hours a night.